Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Bringing Sustainability into Architects' Practices. Please subscribe, it's free to do so. You can unsubscribe at any time, that's also free, but hopefully you'll enjoy the content and press the notifications bell instead. This is a brief presentation on drivers, what's driving sustainability within the architects sector. It's a link into some CPD that I've produced, and hopefully it'll just give you a flavour for the issues that your sector is facing, just in a nice nutshell that you can refer to at any time. So 40% of global emissions come from powering our buildings and cities, and that's a huge amount and really requires an urgency for reduction. According to the European Commission, 80% of the environmental impact of a product is determined at the design stage. And back in 1999, Hawking, Lovins and Lovins stated that all the really important mistakes are made on the first day of the design process. So I would agree with the RIBA that with the declared climate emergency, it's the duty of all architects and the construction industry to act now to lead the transition to a future that delivers the UN Sustainable Goals. Chris Sherwin wrote a blog in 2012 in The Guardian, and it was entitled Sustainability is the Ultimate Design Brief. He concludes there's a growing sense that in the next wave of sustainability, this will be focused on creativity, entrepreneurship, innovation and practical solutions, and design skills will feature heavily. Generally speaking, the retention of staff and in order to stimulate the interest of customers, businesses must carry a clear and strong purpose. And just as a small example, Unilever in June 2019 reported that its 28 sustainable living brands were growing 60% faster than its total portfolio, and they have since redefined their purpose as a corporation. According to Kantar Consulting, and the clue's in the title here, they carried out a report in 2020 which was around purpose, and they singled out purpose as the key to brand growth, citing 2/3 of millennials and centennials expressed a clear preference to buy from and to work for brands that have a point of view and stand for something. And purpose-led brands have seen their valuation surge by 175% over the last 12 years. Kantar also revealed that 76% of marketing heads believe their own organisation has a sense of purpose, but in stark contrast, only 1 in 10 could produce a corporate purpose statement and plan which backed up their beliefs. So it's difficult to understand how they know if they're heading in a sustainable direction. 2 companies that are Patagonia. They've stated that their reason for being is to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. And Starbucks have trademarked their Shared Planet brand, and this is a commitment to do business in ways that are good for people and the planet. With regard to the construction sector, we've cited its magnitude in terms of carbon impact, but the Supply Chain Sustainability School covers a larger range of topics, not just net zero, and any supplier into that industry should note that their vision and values are driven by the ambition of their partners and members, and these partners and members are working towards a sustainable future for the built environment. The partners include major construction, infrastructure and utility companies based in the UK, such as Costain, United Utilities, Network Rail, SSE, Yorkshire Water, Marshalls, etc. And drilling down a little bit more, and with reference to the architect sector, RIBA has declared a climate emergency and set out targets in their Climate Challenge 2030 Sustainable Outcomes document, and this is complemented by the 2020 Plan of Work and the RIBA Plan for Use Guide. They've boldly stated that the time for vague targets and greenwash is over, and many architects agree. Over 1,100 architect practices in the UK have signed up to the Architects Declare movement and have therefore declared a climate emergency. They will enjoy doing the right thing and also will enjoy a strong competitive advantage over the other 40,000 UK practices which haven't. Being part of an initiative such as Architects Declare demonstrates a practice's ability to think longer term, and good companies think longer term than bad companies. And those who embark on sustainability journeys earlier get much more out of their employees than they might expect. For example, if you're currently a coal mine, you need to consider yourself to be an energy supplier. You can look at ways of making things more efficient and of sequestering CO2. You can make these plans ahead of time and move in the right direction. And then one day you have to shut everything down and replace it with something renewable, but you will be ready to do so. So in summary, sustainability is akin to quality, and during the 80s there was a quality revolution. Companies either got quality or they died. One day this will be the same for sustainability. There's an interim period of around 10 years where a few companies will take the lead, and after that sustainability will just be part of any thriving business, just like health and safety is today. So you need to ask yourself if you really are a professional organisation if you don't have sustainability at your core. It is a complicated issue. There are lots of organisations, societies and networks that you need to plug into. You need to look at embodied carbon, you need to look at retrofit, you need to look at life cycle analysis, all sorts of things, including resilience. The climate is already changing. How will that play out in the next 10 to 20 years? And what do buildings need to do to be able to cope with that? So it requires a systems approach and an ability to look at the bigger picture, but this is complicated, it's acknowledged. So we talk a little bit about sustainable leadership. It's not an aspirational dream anymore where companies just use it to get the best people in the world to work for them. It's a survival issue, and we won't have the right to grow or be in business if we create environmental problems. The world won't put up with it. There's too much awareness and amplification, so you do the right thing in a few areas but cover up what you're doing in other areas. Not only is that madness, because this is a real issue, it's a real threat, but social media, bloggers will amplify the problem and you will have a lot to answer for. There is no hiding anymore. So just briefly on a legislative front, We've obviously withdrawn from the EU, and once that is finalised, in terms of the environmental stage, we will have an Environment Act. Once it's gained royal consent, and this will be policed by the Office for Environmental Protection, and there will be legally binding compliance. One aspect of this bill relates to the built environment, and it talks about materials, energy, circular economy and the building of resilient homes, and how to design those homes, especially with regard to heating and cooling. The first step obviously being the banning of gas boilers in new build homes from 2025, and then also we've seen the Green Homes Grant come and go. We still just have the renewable heat incentive, and the hydrogen strategy is available, but also then 2/3 of local authorities have declared a climate emergency, and I have seen this coming through the tender process, with 10% weighting to social value and 8% to sustainability. So if you score highly in those two areas, you can perhaps put in a little bit higher price. So really that is just a summary of the drivers that are affecting the architect sector to become more sustainable. If you are part of Architects Declare, then you have an advantage, or potentially you can have an advantage over the other 40,000 architect practices that aren't part of that initiative. And the wave is breaking for sustainability. So the time is nigh to get working on your sustainable action plans. So thank you for listening. Please have a look at my website, www.so-ren.co.uk, If you pop in the contact section, there's a form for you to fill in, and I can send you some more in-depth videos which will assist you with your CPD. Thank you. Bye bye.